Okay, now this time we're going to go with the Sicilian. H2? Maybe. I could play that in 5 minutes. It's not all just cheap tricks. Queen C7. It stays flexible and okay, so there's a bind here. Let's get my knight out. Pawn push, you don't want to do this. I've done this move as white when I was a Class B player in an over-the-board tournament. And then 2 moves later, I was suffering from the loss of a pawn. Queen A5. I had to fight back. To hold a draw, actually. Surprisingly. So don't do that. Let's see. Let's do this. I want to still keep this diagonal open. I still might have some idea of doing some damage on this square. So I'm going to do this move. I want to get my bishop on b7, so maybe I can get these 2 moves in very quickly. Also, this might be time sensitive such that there's some lines where the bishop could play to f3 and maybe it becomes more difficult for me to get my bishop on this diagonal quickly. And I think I should follow through here. Get my bishop where it belongs. Keep in mind if bishop g5 is played, I'm not concerned about doubled f-pawns. My opponent's going to give up their bishop, the bishop that's more important of the two, their dark square bishop. I'm fine with that. I'd have the bishop pair and a very strong pawn mass in the center. Oh, and I also was threatening this pawn. I didn't even didn't really see that. I'm actually very inclined to do this move right now. I think it's okay to do that. I think it's okay. White's one of the tricks behind this is maybe that's not an accurate term to use, but one of the ideas behind this is to know that White's play will almost always involve having to advance this f-pawn. In order to get some type of advantage, I have to do something with the f-pawn or the e-pawn, and this pawn could be disruptive to these two, and if either one moves, it's a very serious weakness. Now, what I had thought about is that if f4 is played, I could make this move, pin the knight, and then after bishop here, I could play knight g4, forcing bishop takes here. Let's do that. After bishop e3, I'm going to go knight g4. Bishop takes knight, pawn takes. I at least get the h file. Or maybe there's no rush with playing knight g4. Oh, wait. Let me pile up on this knight. That's another idea. Knight c6. Yeah, let me pile up on this guy. If knight takes knight, I'm taking this bishop with check. I'd be winning a piece. So, can't touch this. Am I just reciting song lyrics now, all of a sudden? You can't. That wasn't planned. Knight c6. I meant you really can't move this knight. So now I'm considering this, but maybe I still don't need to do anything. Yeah, I want to get this move in. What is that even doing, though? Let's throw my knight in there right now. I want to make sure I get the H file. Still can't move this knight. Can I get something working on the H file? Can I get my queen over here somehow? It's not so easy to transfer my queen. Maybe I'm seeing an idea in that of queenside castles and then doubling rooks. What would I do if queen e2 is played and this pawn is attacked? White has something to be... I have to be a little cautious of some stuff, right? After I capture a couple times, the rook here would be unprotected, which would allow queen here. So this is being prepped. Ooh, I could do this move. Trying to get at h2. I like that move. I'm going to do it. Just like that. Undermining this pawn. The G pawn is battling the F pawn. If he flinches, I get to smash through on the Bill Gates square. So if b4, my plan is to take a couple times on d4, and then I actually win a pawn on f4. This bishop is currently overloaded. Right now there's two defenders, but he also has a job of watching over on the knight. He has to watch over that knight on d4. So there's been a lot of time being spent. Like if b4 eventually gets played, only then will I be capturing. This is trying to keep my opponent in this pin. So now, oh, you know what's going to happen? There's going to be a fork if I calculate this correctly, I think. At the end of it, I'm seeing two rooks on f4 and d4 with this move being a fork at the end, but I wonder how I should do this. See, if I take here, bishop takes, the bishop's on my rook. If I take bishop takes bishop, then queen takes, and the queen is on my rook. Let me focus here for a second. I'm considering take on f4. I'm considering take on d4. Is there anything else? These are my two candidate moves. Although this pawn really isn't going to go anywhere anyhow. Pawn takes, bishop takes, hitting my queen. If pawn push, there's knight d5. I really don't want to touch this pawn. Maybe I should queenside castle. Yep, queenside castle it is. And now that my rook is defended on h8, I'm ready to do that combination of moves. Take here a couple times, take on f4. I wouldn't have to worry about some queen hitting my rook. Now there could be knight takes knight here, and oh, what I had planned was bishop here, but then there's knight check on e7. I missed that. Wow, I was blind to the... I was actually thinking that the knight couldn't move and give check. For some reason I was seeing it making a capture on c5. Not the case here, so here there's knight check. I have to take like this, and I don't really want to do that. Now I need to keep pressure on this diagonal, so they could get one of my pawns over here, but I'm going to get the f pawn. Miscalculated. We're even on time. Bishop takes. I recapture with the pawn. I don't think I have anything better. So let me just pre-move that. Now they're slipping below. Less than 30. Queen takes, pawn takes, pawn. Pawn takes, it's going to be mate. Can't touch that pawn. And, well, at the end of this, I could have some problems with my f-pawn, but it's not going to come down to that. No time. Less than 5. It's not happening. Is that it? Is there a disconnection issue? Ooh. Must have been some issue here. Waiting for server response, and that's it. It's a forfeit on time. I think there might have been some issue right there down towards the end. My opponent was just trying to type to me, but nothing came through. Okay. Not the Not the greatest way to finish. But let's go back here. Let's see. So we had this open Sicilian, c4, e4 structure. It's a flexible move. It's rare that you can make a queen move this early, but this opening it's justified because it's a stable square. She can't really be harassed on b5 or d5, these knight hops. Yeah, my opponent's now saying that their computer crashed, so that was unfortunate. Yeah, with 30 seconds left. Yeah, that's about when you started to chew on a ton of your time there. Okay, queen c7. I don't see anything wrong with what white's did. This is the first move that struck me as a bit awkward. Yeah, I wonder if there's something better. Yeah, this is a little bit awkward. I mean, you're defending here, see that, but I wonder if there's a better approach. Well, here's another thing you could always be thinking about. Maybe this knight d5 move, it's not really working. You don't have your rook on e1. I wonder if after bishop e2, is there something better? I don't know. I know in the final position it wasn't. I didn't have any great advantage. I mean, you're building your center well. You're defending against d4. Yes, I have this knight hop. I have the h file, and keep in mind the other idea. I didn't point this out. Is that if you're trying to stop knight g4 with h3, you're weakening g3, and so after h4, that pawn really clamps down on the g2 h3 structure, and the knight is ready to jump into g3. So I think you have to just deal with it, keep these pawns sitting like you did. You reinforce d4, and you're trying to get in b4. Come over here with your queen. You're defending everything, and I wasn't really. Maybe there is something better that I could have, but I'm still, even, you know, just right now, I'm not seeing what I could have done better. I think at the end of it, after these exchanges, yeah, this is where your clock fell. I mean, we're gonna have even material. You really wouldn't want to move this pawn because that opens up this diagonal. But is there something better for you? Like, what would be a good move here for you? This is the final position. Yeah, I wonder if just after queen takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, there's something like e5. Yeah, I think that would work. It is opening up this diagonal, though. Yeah, this bishop is a bug. Yeah, it's tough. I guess that's one of the things that has to be weighed when you are playing f4. When I do have my bishop on this diagonal, if f4 is played, he could be potentially having direct sight of g2. Whereas if you just went a single step, you're really trying to blunt the diagonal of the bishop, having f3, g2. But this is sensible in that you would many times like to get in e5, a space gaining move, and vacating e4, maybe jumping into the weak squares. Well, this wasn't weak for a great while, but certainly the d6 square is a soft point in the black position. So I'm not really sure what to suggest for like how to maybe do one better on the white side, and I'm not really seeing what I could have done better. It was defended well. I know, like, I've had a lot of players, even in 5-minute games, they fall for these attacks on the H file. It's not so easy to parry, but did well to reinforce the threats that I did have. Not biting as soon as I played G5. That's for sure. But Good defense of the pressure that I had on your pieces, f4 and d4, but I don't know that I'm missing anything. If I could have done any better, you defended well. And yeah, not the greatest finish. You ended up having your computer crash, but I guess that's things we have to deal with from time to time. Alrighty, good game as usual, Shitako.